In this lab, we will learn about Istio's traffic shifting capabilities by shifting traffic from one version of a microservice to another. Let's get started. Let's take a look at our current setup. We have two versions of the customer's microservice. V2 is a relatively new version that has an enhancement of returning the country information of a customer. In most scenarios, we would like to have a minimal amount of traffic be sent to the new version of a microservice. If the transactions sent to the new version are seen to pass, it increases the user's confidence and gradually a higher amount of traffic can be sent to that version. Eventually, we can move all the traffic to the new version. This strategy is particularly useful in deployment strategies like Canary. Let's delete the current virtual service in the environment. Just to recollect, we have created a destination rule for the customer's service. This destination rule contains two subsets, namely V1 and V2, to correspond to the two versions of our customer's application. Let's create a new virtual service that will split the traffic such that 90% of the requests will be sent to V1 and 10% will be sent to V2. Let's take a look at the manifest. We define a single route with two destinations. Using the weight field, 10% of the traffic is routed to V2 and 90% to V1. Remember that the sum of all the weights should always equal 100%. Let's create the virtual service. Let's set 1000 requests in a loop to the API. Let's access Kiali and view the graph. Ensure that you have the checkbox for traffic distribution selected. And we will hide the service nodes temporarily. If you refresh a few times, you will find the traffic distribution is exactly as intended. As 100% of the requests are successful, we see that V2 is working well, at least for a lesser load. So let's try to increase the traffic on V2 to be 70% and V1 to be 30%. Let's edit the virtual service and make the appropriate changes in the weight. I'll invoke 1000 requests in a loop to the API. Again, in the Kiali dashboard, if we refresh a few times, you will see the traffic distribution is exactly how we wanted it. All the requests passed yet again, and now we are quite confident that V2 is stable. So we will shift all the traffic to V2 by appropriately changing the virtual service configuration once again. If needed, you can completely remove the V1 subset, but we will keep the weight as 100 for this lab. I'll execute 1000 requests. And this time the graph in Kiali shows all the requests are routed to V2. Well, that's it for this lab, and I'll see you in the next one.